All right, what is going on, YouTube? I am Germ here. Today, we are going to be attempting to rebuild Team Vitality. This is a team who was supposed to be the super team of the West, not just the LEC, but like they were supposed to carry the weight of the entire West on their shoulders. They had Perkz, Alfari, Karzi, Lebrov, all of these big names, all of this talent, and it just didn't go well. They didn't even make playoffs. Like, not only did they miss Worlds in a year where the LEC had 4 playoff slots, or 4 World slots, they didn't even make playoffs. That's absolutely insane. So for Team Vitality, it's already the offseason. At Team Vitality HQ right now, they're doing stuff just like this. They're thinking about all the different possible roster combinations for next year, and that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be trying to figure out how we can fix this team. So I started out by looking at the LEC roster and looking at all the different resources and stuff that we have in place. We have Alfari, Haru, Perkz, Karzi, and Lebrov as the team that ended the season, and none of them are about to be free agents. 4 of them are signed until 2024, and Haru is signed until 2023. So everybody's coming back. We have a 7th place LEC team coming back for next year. But obviously our goals aren't to be a 7th place team, so we're going to be making some changes. And I set some goals over here. I put as our first goal, we have to make a team that's going to make the playoffs in spring of 2023. Vitality's spending too much money. They have too much talent. They have too much going for them to not even be making playoffs. We got to make playoffs. We also need to make Worlds without destroying our future. Obviously, we could get, some crazy, insane team of veterans or old people or whatever, and probably make it to Worlds next year pretty easily, especially if the LEC has 4 slots again. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to keep a good core intact to be a good team later on down the line, but also make Worlds right now while Perkz and Alfari and all these guys are in, their prime. It's not prime Perkz, but Perkz isn't getting any younger at this point. And then we need to develop Bo. Bo is this insane piece that we're trying to build around. We have to make sure Bo is set up in an environment where he's going to be able to thrive and do really, really well. So those are some of my goals. We also have the Academy roster. I don't really think there's any too interesting players from Academy that we're just going to be like calling up or placing into the LEC. But just wanted to leave that stuff out there for you guys just so you can see it. We also have Self-Made signed until 2024. And of course, we have Bo signed until 2023. We also have our coach here, Mephisto. He's signed until 2023. What are we going to be doing with all those guys? I set up some of the free agents, some of the LEC free agents. We have Kabe, Vizicachi, Xerxa, Nukeduk, Kryze, Marcoon, Oduamne, Genix, Jezu, Crowny, Bean, Schlatan, VTO, Neon, who are all going to be free agents. And then I set up some interesting other players from around the world as well that I'm going to be taking a look out for and keeping in mind for this roster. So, as far as the possible rosters that we're going to be setting up down here, these are going to be our 5. I think you have to start out in any roster with Bo as your jungler. I think this is the obvious starting point. Vitality signed him. Vitality's taking a chance on this guy to play him. It's not like they're going to be playing Haru next split. It's not like, Self-Made's coming back and winning the jungle position or anything like that. I think Haru is probably going to end up back in the ERLs next year. Maybe you could see a team taking a chance on him, maybe like a Team Heretics or a BDS or something like that as their jungler. But I assume those teams are probably going to go with ERL options, and Haru will maybe either be a bottom LEC jungler or a top ERL jungler once again. But I don't think Haru did so much this split that was like, oh, he's so insane, he's going to be in the LEC for sure. And then for Self-Made, what's going to happen to him? I don't know. Is some LCS team going to want to try and buy him out? Is he going to end up ERLs? Is a team like Heretics or BDS going to look at Self-Made? I don't know, but either way, I don't think either of these guys are ending up on Vitality. I think Bo pretty much has to be your jungler. When I'm looking at top lane as well, I think Alfari is pretty close to locked in. Now, there is a lot of criticism about Alfari. Some people say, oh, he gets these big leads and he does nothing with them, or oh, he's a fraud, or he's a paycheck stealer, or whatever. I get it, and I get what people are saying, but I do think Alfari overall had a decent year. I think he's good, and there's just not a lot of other insane top lane options around the LEC. Like, if you're not going with Alfari, then who are you going to go with? We see even these new guys coming up out of the LEC. We saw Aggressivu, we saw Irrelevant come in. Neither of them looked all that cracked. Last split, we saw some guys like SLT, Sagenda, some of these guys. Really the only interesting top lane prospect that's come up recently has been like Adam. And are you going to try and buy out Adam from Team VDS? I don't think so. I don't think that's exactly what Team Vitality is looking for at this point. So even if we don't totally love Alfari, which I'm not like on the, oh, Alfari's the GOAT bandwagon or nothing like that, I think Alfari has to be pretty close to locked in the top lane for this team. Could Odo be like an outside? Maybe they can talk Odo into signing with them or something like that. Yeah, maybe, but they have Alfari signed until 2024. Perkz likes Alfari. They came together as a package deal. I don't really see anything else going on there. So I think Alfari and Bo are pretty close to locked in. Now, then the question becomes, is Perkz locked in the mid lane? And that's what I don't know about. I don't think Vitality is going to be kicking Perkz or anything like that. But my question is, does Perkz want to stay? And then if he wants to stay, does he want to stay in the mid lane? So my kind of big theory this whole offseason, something I'm going to keep pushing, we're going to keep talking about, is like, could Perkz consider leaving Team Vitality? We know that Perkz, his number one choice when he was leaving G2, we know his number one choice was Fnatic. Obviously, we know about the whole, Carlos and G2 blocked him from going to Fnatic. They wouldn't let him go to Fnatic and all that stuff, so he ended up having to go to Cloud9. And then Carlos even tried to block Cloud9 from giving him to Fnatic. But obviously, Fnatic ended up in a spot where they could go get Humanoid, and they were happy with that, so they didn't really care about fighting for Perkz too hard. But now, Fnatic's coming off a year where they didn't do so good without Perkz. Perkz is coming off a year where he didn't do so good without Fnatic. Could we see them potentially linking up together? I don't know. So that's why I don't think Perkz is 100% locked into the mid lane for Team Vitality. I think there is a world where Perkz could potentially leave. I think Perkz is either going to be on Vitality or Fnatic in 2023, but I think they're both spicy. And then I've heard a lot of people saying stuff like this, and I don't think this is super, super possible. I don't think this is going to happen, but some people are saying, oh, what if, Perkz hasn't been very good at mid lane recently. What if he role swaps back to AD carry? What if Vitality tries to get another mid laner? We, kick Carzzy, put Perkz down there, and have him go from there. Hey, that could be interesting too. I don't know. I think both of those are very, very unlikely. I think Perkz overall is pretty solidly locked into the mid lane, but I do at least want to go through some options where we move Perkz around a little bit. But I think Alfari and Bo here, are kind of locked in. So then we get to the point where we need to decide what we're doing with AD carry. What's going on in the AD carry position? Carzzy was just not it. I really think, in my opinion, Carzzy was the worst player on Team Vitality this season. I don't think he was all that good. He was obviously coming off a ton of hype of making MSI semifinals, getting out of groups at Worlds, winning 2 LEC titles. He's like young, and he's like 19, 20 years old, something like that. So it was a super big pickup for Vitality to get somebody really good and really young that they can like build around for their future. But Carzzy was not good. Carzzy was just not good. And I don't know if he didn't fit the Team Vitality play style, or maybe he just had a bad year, a bad split. Maybe he was just in crazy form last year, and this is maybe how good Carzzy is. I don't really know, but either way, with how things went on this team, with how disappointing they were, I think you need to make some changes. And yes, you're already making a change in the jungle with Bo coming in. But I really think we need to start looking at some different AD carry options. And this is where I get to what a lot of people have been saying. Neon potentially fits into this team very, very well. Obviously, Neon is on Misfits. Misfits is going to be out of the LEC. So all of their players are about to be available. Yes, Heretics is going to have the option of like signing those players if they want to, but from what I've heard, or what it sounds like, those contracts are not carrying over to Team Heretics. It sounds like these players are going to be free to test the free agent market. And Neon was a guy who he played on Misfits, and he's still playing on Misfits right now, obviously. Misfits is a team that puts a ton of resources, a ton of attention into VTO, getting him everything he needs to carry in the late game. And Neon has been able to thrive as a secondary carry this whole year. He's been a guy who hasn't gotten all the attention, hasn't gotten all the spotlight, but Neon has quietly been very, very quiet and very, very good. And he made one of the All-Pro teams this year. I don't know if it was second team or third team or whatever, but Neon has been very, very good. He is really, really underrated. And if you come into this Vitality team where you're going to have a ton of guys getting attention, Alfari, Bo, Perkz, they're going to be going crazy. They're going to be getting attention. Could Neon be that perfect guy to fly under the radar and be a consistent, reliable asset for Team Vitality? I think it could work. I think this could be really, really good. When people were saying this to me, I thought this was very, very interesting. I love the idea of Team Vitality Neon, and I think it's actually very, very realistic because, he wouldn't be super expensive. He's probably looking to join a good team. Now, maybe the market for Neon's going to be crazy. Maybe some other people are going to be going for him. I don't know. But I think this could be a spicy option. And when you look at the other AD carry options, who is really else out there? I don't really see a ton of awesome options. You have Crowny. I don't think Vitality's rolling with Crownie next year. You have Bean from Fnatic. I don't think they're going with Bean. I just don't really see it happening. And other than that, Kabe is like the next best free agent AD carry. I don't know. Another interesting option is, what about Hansama? What if, Team Liquid has had a very, very up and down year. We don't even know if Team Liquid is going to qualify for Worlds this year. Say Team Liquid does qualify for Worlds and they don't get out of groups. That's very possible. Maybe Team Liquid goes on a crazy run. Maybe they win the LCS title. Maybe they get out of groups. Maybe Team Liquid's all good to go. Hansama's coming back next year. No worries there. But it seems like in the LCS every year, we get some European players to come over and then they end up going right back. If Hansama decides to leave the LCS, or he doesn't like TL, or TL doesn't like him, or they just decided things weren't working out and he ends up going back to Europe, could Vitality be a potential landing spot for Hansama? I think it could be interesting. I think it could be spicy. I don't know if it's going to happen. Like I said, TL, their season is still going on, so it's hard to make this early in the offseason a prediction like that. But I think Hansama could honestly be an interesting addition here. Then I want to talk about a guy like Viper. This is a guy who is set to be a free agent. Viper is a Korean AD carry who he was in talks with G2 last year to be on G2 this year. Obviously, G2 ended up going with Flockhead, but Carlos and Thorin and all these guys have said that G2 could have had Viper if they wanted them. Now, yes, there's always going to be the questions of like language barrier and culture barrier and all this stuff, but they're already integrating Bo into the team. So obviously, the like language and culture barrier isn't too big of a deal to them. They are willing to bring in Eastern players. Obviously, Bo's Chinese and Viper's Korean. I'm not saying that like they're the same or anything like that, but I am saying that, making some of these changes could be possible. Now, yes, you'd have 3 different languages going on. Maybe that'd be too crazy. Maybe that'd be too much. I don't know. But this would be an absolute like stud for, Vitality to go out and try and pick up. Apparently, Viper speaks great English from what some people are saying too. I know Youngblood saying that in the chat, and I've heard that before too. I don't think I've heard him talk before, but so people say he speaks English, so that could be awesome. And then you also have the possibility, I think, of like, what if they went out and got a guy like LWX, who I think is about to be a free agent? LWX, obviously from FPX. Bo comes from FPX as well. So they have a little bit of synergy. They at least know each other. I don't know if they like each other, if they were good friends, or if they love playing with each other or not. But could Vitality look to get a guy like this? You also have a guy like Jackie Love, who's about to be a free agent if you're trying to go really big, really spicy. I don't think Jackie Love's coming to Team Vitality, but I think Viper, LWX could be 2 very, very interesting options. And then, of course, you got to talk about Reckless. So we don't know if K-Corp's going to be in the LEC next year. Maybe they're going to be, maybe they're not. If K-Corp does get in the LEC, Reckless is going to be with them. Hey, period, end of story, whatever. But if K-Corp doesn't get in the LEC, Reckless wants to play in the LEC. He's already said this. So he's going to need a team to go to. When you look at a lot of the top LEC teams, they already have AD carry options. Could Reckless end up at Vitality? Now, hey, we know Perkz has said he doesn't want to play with Reckless. I think it's a lot due to how they see the game. Just how Reckless didn't fit in with G2. Like, Jankos didn't really like him. Perkz comes from that same mindset of Jankos, where they have the one way of playing the game, and they're a little bit more, like faster, up-tempo, crazy. Reckless a little safer, scaling, late game, like want to play perfectly. They want to not play a perfect game. They want to get crazy and in your face. So maybe Reckless and Perkz wouldn't totally fit together. But in the scenario where, one, maybe Perkz is just like, okay, hey, we need an AD carry. I don't want to play with Carzzy again. Maybe we decide to go with Reckless. Or maybe this is the scenario where a guy like Perkz goes to Fnatic, we pop out Perkz, and Vitality tries to go and get a guy like VTO. Or you just have one of these other mid laners coming in. VTO is an option out there. You have Nuke Duck. If Perkz goes to Fnatic, then you have Humanoid as an option. I think a team like this could be really, really possible, where you have Humanoid or VTO in the mid lane, and then you're bringing Reckless in as AD carry as well. Vitality double lip, some people are saying in the chat, that could be a spicy one. I don't think that's happening, but that would certainly be funny. I mean, the viewership on that would be crazy. But if you did end up in the world where Perkz decides to go to a Fnatic or something like that, and you went with another mid laner, then Reckless becomes a very, very real possibility for Team Vitality. And I think something like that could happen there. But overall, I think those are all kind of long shot ideas. I think those are kind of like the more spicy off seasons, which sometimes off season gets very, very spicy. Sometimes we get some crazy stuff. So I think you always have to talk about all those different possibilities, all those different options. But at the end of the day, I do think the most likely options are going to be with Perkz and with Neon. but I at least wanted to go through some of those other spicy ones. And then we get to the support position, where support is hard for me. I don't think Labrov was great this year. I'm not saying Labrov was good at all. I think maybe people are criticizing him a little bit too hard, especially when you're in a duo lane. It's always hard to tell, or do they both suck? Does just one of them suck and it's holding the other one back? Is it some kind of situation like that? Labrov is still so young, and I do still want to keep some young pieces to build around for the future, especially, we have some more veteran guys like Alfari and Perkz. I'm not saying they're old, but I'm saying they're more veteran. So, having some more inexperienced pieces that maybe can still continue to grow and get better and be, are good players later on down the line, I think Labrov could be interesting. And again, if it's not Labrov, who's it going to be? I've heard some people say, hey, we should go out and try and buy Treats from SK or something like that. For whatever reason, it seems like Treats hasn't wanted to leave. And other than that, who are the good support options that are available? Targamas was just an absolutely huge pickup for G2. I mean, that was so insane. Maybe Vitality could have went after a guy like Mickey or something like that. But overall, I think Labrov was fine. And I honestly would feel pretty comfortable bringing Labrov back. And I wouldn't really have any issue with this. I think overall, this is the most likely 2023 Vitality team: Alfari, Bo, Perkz, Neon, and Labrov. I do think that this is a better overall version. Some people are saying Mursa. You could maybe go with Mursa here too. I wouldn't totally hate it. Obviously, Neon and Mursa having played together, but I don't know. I think at this point, I would rather have Labrov over Mursa. But if you went and got Mursa, I think it would be fine. But to me, it wouldn't really be worth getting rid of Labrov and bringing in Mursa just to have maybe a side grade or maybe a tiny bit of an upgrade or something like that. I think Labrov has a higher ceiling than Mursa as well. I think this is the most likely 2023 roster for Team Vitality. I think this would be better than the 2022 team. I think this team would absolutely make playoffs in spring. And if Bo ends up being as good as advertised, I think this team could absolutely make worlds. I think this is a good team that Bo could develop on. I think you could, you want to have aggressive winning lanes to allow Bo to get aggressive in the jungle and do stuff. Alfari and Perkz are definitely going to enable him to do that. You have an AD carry that doesn't mind the spotlight being off of him. That would enable Labrov to maybe go around and make some plays as well. The one question we then get to is kind of the coaching staff. We have Mephisto. I don't really think they're going to be bringing Mephisto back. Could this be Cadril coming in as our head coach in 2023? I think it's absolutely possible. We heard Cadril almost became the head coach of the team last year. He wanted to come back and cast again. Now, is he still happy casting? Is he still happy in content creation? I don't know. Somebody said they could get the Rogue bot lane. Yeah, it's possible. I don't know why Rogue would be giving up their bot lane, but it's possible. Mephisto's bad. I think Mephisto's bad as well. Don't you dare remove Cadril from the LEC. Well, just head coach gets hard. It's who is the head coach? Who is a coach that I'm kind of interested in? Who's some good coaches out there that aren't going to be available? Are you going to bring in Grabs at this point? Grabs, I don't know. And we just know that Cadril has been linked to this team before, and I think it would make a ton of sense. I would be pretty shocked if they bring Mephisto back in 2023. He's already a part of XL. Yeah, he's a part of our XL, but he could definitely leave the team if he wanted to go coach or whatever too. So I don't know. Alfari, Bo, Perkz, Neon, Labrov. Yeah, I think overall that's the best move. We got Grabs, we got Cadril. But yeah, that's my thoughts and opinions on a potential Vitality rebuild for 2023. Rogue are selling, but they're still going to hang on to their slot and all their players and stuff. So it's just going to be the Rogue players under the Koi name. The Rogue players aren't going to turn into free agents or anything like that, at least from what we're hearing so far. But this was my idea of what a potential Team Vitality rebuild looks like in 2023. Thank you so much to Twitch chat for helping me out as well. Definitely leave a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think about the rebuild or what you think Vitality might do or should do. Love to hear your thoughts and opinions. Drop a like if you did enjoy it. And come hang out with us over on Twitch, twitch.tv/I_am_germ. Come drop a follow, come drop a Prime sub. That'd be absolutely awesome. Hopefully I catch you guys in the next one. But until then, peace.